and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. As tensions continue to flare in the Red Sea, the US and the UK have launched their first strikes against Houthi-linked targets across Yemen. As per US President Joe Biden, the strikes are backed by Australia, Canada, Bahrain and the Netherlands. The retaliation comes just days after the navies of the two countries thwarted the biggest Houthi attack in the Red Sea till date. Now, this is the first attack against the Iran-backed rebels since their aggression against shipping vessels began last year. The strikes have reportedly been carried out by aircraft, ship and submarines. As per reports, the Western militaries are targeting drone and missile launch sites, along with radar stations and weapons stockpiles in Yemen's coastal areas. The counteroffensive aims to halt the Houthi missile and drone assault in the vital shipping route. The Houthis have also confirmed the Western raids struck targets in the capital of Sana'a, along with the cities of Sa'da and Damar, as well as the Hodeidah governorate. Now, the militant group has termed the strike, and I'm quoting here, an American Zionist British aggression. On the other hand, US President has issued a statement following the strikes, which reads, and I quote, "Today, at my direction, US military forces, together with the United Kingdom and with support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada and the Netherlands, successfully conducted strikes against a number of targets in Yemen used by Houthi rebels to endanger freedom of navigation in one of the world's most vital waterways." Now, UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has also confirmed that the Royal Air Force carried out targeted strikes on Houthi military facilities in Yemen. He added, and I quote, "Their reckless actions are risking lives at sea and exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in Yemen." A joint statement from the governments of Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Republic of Korea, United Kingdom and the United States has also been released. The countries say that they will not hesitate to defend lives and protect the free flow of commerce in the critical waterways in the face of the continued threat. Following the strike, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, took to his social media account on the platform X. He said that the Houthis have a serious price to pay for their global acts of terror. Holding the Biden administration to account, he said that this incident should shift the US government's approach to Iran. Now, the Australian Defence Minister, Richard Marles, has said that the country provided personnel support and operational headquarters to the US and the UK in the operation against the Houthis. The Defence Minister said, and I'm quoting here, "Australia will continue to support any actions which assert the global rules-based order." Now, Yemen's neighbouring Saudi Arabia has voiced, quote-unquote, great concern over the strikes and has urged against the escalation in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, also spoke with India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S.J. Shankar, welcoming increased cooperation with India to defend the freedom of navigation in the region. The Houthis, who control most of Yemen, have been targeting commercial vessels in the Red Sea to show their support for the Hamas following the outbreak of its war with Israel. The attacks have disrupted international commerce on the route between Europe and Asia, and that accounts for over 15% of the world's shipping traffic. Now, to talk more on this, we are being joined live by Dr. Elizabeth Kendall, who is an expert on West Asia and the head of Gritton College at Cambridge University. Thank you for being with us. Now, the US strikes in Yemen mark a very visible expansion of this crisis. What do you think will be the implications of these strikes in the West Asian region?
I think that this is one major sign that the escalation of the conflict in the Middle East that has its roots way back, but that was pushed over the boundaries on the 7th of October when Hamas attacked Israel, is now beginning truly to spread. This is a really major event, having the US and the UK go in with direct military action. And it just suggests that all other options had dried up, and many of them had been tried. The Houthis who've been launching these attacks in the Red Sea their funding had been curbed, sanctions had been placed on them, diplomatic efforts had been tried or broached, but really we have no leverage over the Houthis. And even the multinational maritime force for the Red Sea had not seemed to deter them. So this really was the final option. And I think what we will see is not that the Houthis will be deterred, but rather that they will come out and try to exact revenge. So we could see a further cycle of violence.
Now, Iran and Saudi Arabia have both reacted very strongly to these strikes. And we also saw US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and his outreach in the region. Do you believe the US will manage to keep things under control?
That's very hard to answer at this point because it depends how the Houthis and others in the axis of resistance controlled by Iran react. So, of course, it's not in anyone's interests, really, for this war to spiral into an all-out conflict, taking in the Red Sea and the rest of the region. But if the Houthis react by, for example, hitting a ship, sinking a ship, or exacting revenge against American or British targets in the region, or those of their allies, then I think we will see a further spiral, a further escalation, and there will be all-out war. It's no surprise, by the way, that Saudi Arabia has come out publicly against these attacks. We don't know what it's been saying privately, but publicly, it does not want to antagonize the Houthis at the moment when it's negotiating its own extraction from the Yemen war. And there were signs that Saudi Arabia is going to successfully exit the Yemen war. That these signs were announced by the United Nations Special Envoy just before Christmas. So it won't want to scupper those chances.
Right, Doctor, thank you very much for being with us and your analysis and insights there.
You're welcome.